Hey, it's Miss Muller, and we're going to look at the Week 5 memory joggers, which start on day 16. So I'm going to pull it up to show you. All right, so it looks like this in your packet. And so if we look at problem A, it says estimate to the nearest 10. So remember, when we estimate or we round, we do a number line. So I don't think I have enough room right there. So I'm going to get another sheet of paper, and you can write it in your notebook to estimate these numbers first before you subtract. So remember, you have to estimate both numbers first by making number lines. And when we go to the nearest 10, we write how many tens it already has. So this first number, 82, has 8 tens, so I put 80. And then the next 10 is 90. So then I have to think, where does 82 go? Remember, if it ends in a 0 through 4, we round down. If it ends with 5 through 9, we round up. So 2 rounds down because it's closer to 80 than 90. So we have 80 here. And then my second number is 28, so it has 2 tens already. 30 is the next 10. 28 goes here. I see that there is an 8 in the ones place because I looked next door to the ones place to help me. And since it's from a 5 to a 9, that 8 goes in there, so I round up to 30. So now I can do my subtraction problem. 80 minus 30 equals 50. So then I can write my answer here. All right, if I do my next one, 178 plus 201. So I write first 178. I look at the tens place and I see that it has 7 tens. So I can start at 170. And then the next 10 would be 180. So 178, I have to look at that ones place and I see that that rounds up to 180. Next is 201. So in the closest 10 would just be 200. And then here's 210. 201 is right next door, so that's going to round down to 200. So I have 170 plus 200, and that is going to give me 370. For the next problem, it says estimate to the nearest 100, record your equation. So now, instead of doing to the nearest 10, I need to go to the nearest 100. So I see 100, so that already has 100, and then the next 100 would be 200. I look next door to the tens, and 104, that's a 0. So if I have a 0 next door, then that rounds down. So it rounds down to 100. And then over here with 845, it already has 800s. The next 100 would be 900. I look next door, and it's a 4 for 845. So a 4 rounds down to 800. So I have 100 plus 800 equals 900. So remember, the important thing with rounding is you have to draw out the number lines. All right, now problem B, it says Joel has 6 packs of pencils. Each pack has 30 pencils. How many pencils does Joel have? So here I learned he has 6 packs, and each pack has 30. So if I were to make my get chart, he has 6 packs, each pack has 30, and I don't know my total. When I know my groups and my each but not my total, I have to multiply. So I do 6 times 30, which is the same thing as 6 times 3 tens. I know 6 times 3 equals 18, so I know it's 180 because it's 18 tens. Now, problem C, it says write a fraction and shade the cookie to show how much each student ate. Jaleel ate 1/8 of his cookie, so I know that's 1 out of 8 pieces. So I can write that right here. And I shade in 1 piece. Here it says Aubrey ate 3/8 of her cookies. So that's 3 out of 8 pieces, 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. Who ate more? I see Aubrey has filled in more. She's eaten more of her cookie. So I can compare these two. Aubrey ate more. And I have 1/8 3/8. So I'm trying to see which one is bigger. So remember, the sign goes towards the mouth, goes towards the bigger number, like an alligator. So I draw my symbol like this to compare my fractions. Now for problem D, it says, how many more books were read week 4 than week 2? Remember, when it says more than, we're comparing, so that means we subtract. So first we need to find how much each of these weeks are. So in week 1, it was between 40 and 50. So I know in the very middle between 40 and 50, that's 10. So in the middle is 5. So I'd have 45 right here. Because if I make a number line between 40 and 50, I know the middle would be 45. And then here for week 2, I can do the same thing. Between 50 and 60 is 55. For week 3, it's 40. And for week 4, it's 70. So I'm looking at week 2 and week 4. So week 2 had 55 and week 4 had 70. So I have 70 minus 55, which if I needed to put it on a number line, I could put 55 and 70. So I could add 5 more to get to 60 and then 10 to get to 70. So my answer would be 15. Then it says how many books have been read in all. So in all means I have to find the total, which means I need to add them all up. So I'm going to use my scratch sheet of paper again in your notebook, or you can send the picture of your work too with your answers. So to find how many books have been read in all, I need to add all of the weeks. So week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. I'm going to add my tens first. 40 plus 50 plus 40 plus 70. I know 40 plus 50 is 90. 40 plus 70 is 110. 90 plus 110 equals 200. Then I have my ones, 5 plus 5 plus 0 plus 0. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 0 plus 0 equals 0. So I have 10, so now I have to add 200 plus 10 equals 210. So there were 210 books read in all. Now, you also, for the next memory jogger, you're going to be doing the same type of problems where you estimate, where you multiply by a multiple of 10, and then you're looking at graphs. Remember, with a pictograph, you just look at the key for the symbol for how much each is. So if a whole smiley face equals 10, I count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then a half would be 5, so 65. Down here where you're comparing the fractions, you need to shade in how much of the fraction and then see which one is bigger. So for example, for problem C, I have 1/3 or 1/8. Here, remember, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces are going to be. So the bigger fraction is actually 1/3, even though the denominator is smaller. Because the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces, the more people are going to have to share. So then for this next one, you have 2/6 or 2/3. If I take 2 small pieces of the 6 or 2 big pieces of the thirds, which one is going to be bigger? And so you're going to use these symbols to compare, either writing greater than or less than. So you're going to do that for all of the rest of these. All right, and that is the memory jogger for week 5. Let me know if you have any questions, and keep working on this at home, making sure you're showing all of your work. Bye, guys.